before the actual video starts, I've had a very, very generous user who a few months ago reached out to me with some old test equipment that he wanted to see if I wanted it. I did, but he's in the US, I'm in Canada, and I couldn't find a way to get it across the border that wouldn't be extremely expensive. So what I've done is to thank him for his extremely kind offer and to help keep this equipment from just turning into scrap, I offered to let you guys know what he has in the chance that someone out there might be able to use it. He took a quick video to show what it is.
I've got a 19-inch rack with some power supplies and a pair of electronic loads, along with some temperature sense systems, relays, and some Hewlett-Packard data acquisition scanners that were used for building up batteries for electric car work.
In the spirit of him offering it to me, I want to try to hopefully find somebody who would actually put it to use. You know, it's ultimately going to be between him and whoever, but it would be really lovely to see if it went to somebody who was actually working on projects, somebody who might not otherwise normally have access to this kind of test equipment. If you think that might be you, on the YouTube thingy on the About page, you'll see my email address. Send me an email and I will pass on your contact information to him. Absolutely lovely person. I really hope this equipment finds a good home. So with that, regular video. So new day, it's raining outside. I got a bunch of parts and I am ready to start cleaning up the cables. I need to clean up first the cables under the quarter-berth so that I can put the quarter-berth back together. Got some scrap wood. It's going to be really kind of dirty, ugly, but I'm going to get the quarter-berth back together, which will free up some space so I can work easier. And if the rain stops, we'll start cleaning up the wiring in the quarter-berth. We'll start cleaning up the wiring in the lazarette also. Also, for the battery that is going to be on the engine side, for the battery that's on the engine side, I got some of this, I don't know if it's really coming through with the light being crappy, but it's that sound thermal protection. I'm gonna put that on the outside of the box for the battery that's on the engine side to try to keep some of the heat off of it, but I'll do that in a bit. Okay, I don't have time for perfection. I just have to work with what I've got. Oh, I should show you what I got also for doing this wire management. I brought the stuff to do lacing, but there's no way I've got time for that right now. Oh, let's start an experiment. If I can get the engine started, if I can get the starter battery working, my plan this Saturday is to take the boat out on a shakedown cruise. But between now and then, I want to get a rough idea of how quickly I discharge the batteries. Let's see how long we can run off our batteries. It's actually quite nice outside right now, if a little wet. So right now I'm pulling about, what is that? Oh yeah, I've got all of these lights. I found LED replacements for all of these. So right now I am pulling about 30 amps, but hopefully when I switch these out to LEDs, it'll drop down because I've got most of the lights on. Normally, if I was trying to conserve my batteries, I would go and turn off all the lights I don't need, but for this to be an experiment, I kind of just want to use the boat as if I was plugged in, so I'm going to leave them on. I'm going to turn this one off because I just don't need it. Oh, I was starting to show you, oh, I'm so forgetful, a few of the things I got. I got a new cable. It's a 3 meter, 10 foot, 14 gauge wire. That should be long enough to let me get this over to the back of the charger breaker, which I want to do so I can wire. Oh, it's really hard to see right now. Can you see that? Oh, you can't see shit. I think I bumped the record button at some point. I don't know when it turned off. I don't know how much you missed. Anyways, I realized I don't need to terminate this right away, not to do the cable dressing. I can do that when I'm in the lazarette. So, I'm gonna put that over here and just start running the wires. Damn it, that really hurt the knee. I hurt myself and I didn't even get it on camera. What a waste. I'm going to be putting a lot of holes in the boat. I know that. None of them point towards the water, so, you know, there's no safety concern. If I had more time, I would be measuring down and striking a line to make sure that all of these screws are going in the right place, but yeah. So I've got the excess length of the VE Direct cable I'm trying to take up here. To give myself some room to be able to adjust that later, I'm not going to pull this cord really tight. No cussing. Keep your cussing to yourself, Maddie. Suffice to say, this is not to my standards. Well, I mean, I'm doing it, so I guess it's one of my standards. Alright, that makes this area tolerable. I want to keep these wires down. I mean, I'm not really worried about chafing. Oop, that was the refrigerant. I'm not really worried about chafing because all of this is going to get pulled apart and redone, so it's not like it's going to be in here for years. There we go. I was trying to get the black wire over the red wire so that they laid flat. Let's push that back in. I think I'm going to strap this one in here just to make sure this lays low, but I'm not going to worry about it too much. And yes, I'm aware that there's wires just on the other side of this. I think I mentioned before, I'm very much into the risk-taking part of the phase, or part of the project. Of course, the irony is that if you take a risk and screw up, you end up much further behind than you would have been if you had been slow and careful. I suppose that's why they call it a risk. It might not pay off. Alright. So a bunch of these wires are coming up here. I need to start thinking about what I'm going to do with all of this stuff. Actually, before I do much of anything else, I need to lift this up and support it. This one's nice and straight. This one's nice and straight. This one's nice and square. I mean, nice and square for scrap wood. I'm going to try to cut that end off to clean it up and then maybe make 3 pieces out of it. I need to get some wood glue so I can actually glue these together. But I don't have any today. I can see a shake down this, but that's fine. Let's do a piece about... Oh, that's going to split in 2. It doesn't matter. Yes, it does matter. Okay, let's do this side. Three pieces. This will be glued together into a single block once I know it's the right size and I actually go buy some glue. Oh, that's almost perfect. Ow, 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 ow. Stab myself with something. No, it's not. I need more height. I think 4 of these would be too high. Let's try that. Not the same. Okay, no, I need about half that thickness. This is... Oh, that's probably still too much. This is from when I pulled apart the head, or the black water tank. This in here now. I needed something to properly lift that up while I try to shove this in. Nope. So let's try 2 of these. I really wish I had some shims. That would make this a lot easier. But I don't have shims, and I'm not in a position to go grab some right now. Damn it! Ah, so close. I wish you were here. You could lift that for me. Ah, that's a good height. Yeah, it's touching. You can't see it, but the hump is right there, and it's in contact right up to that point. So that's perfect. That's the right height. Back to cleaning up cables. When I was running these, I was trying to keep these largely together. Now I get to see how well I succeeded at that. Right. I could just unplug them and pull them down and wind them together, and that'd be a lot cleaner. That would also be sensible, and I've proven myself over and over again not to be very good at doing the sensible options. Okay, that is tolerably bad. Now, I don't like this just sitting here on the trip home. I also don't want it baking. All right, Canon, you're going to pretend to be a GoPro for today. Except you're not very good at that, are you? Problem is this is really tall. Nope, I can get it to just fit. Oh, to be an octopus. This will very modestly try to hold up the quarter-berth board, but I don't think it'd be a problem. What I will do though is loop through only the bottom side, because otherwise the cord coming over would lift it up even further. And I'm making a point, I'm not pulling these zip ties super tight. If you pull them too tight, you actually dig in to the insulation, and that's not good. Actually, if I put another one here, that'll hold those up. Yes, I'm gonna try that. I don't know if it's gonna work, but that's what I'm gonna try. Oh, I need to get my angle screwdriver. Have I regaled y'all lately with how much I love this 90-degree thingy? So I really love this 90-degree thingy. There. Once the quarter-berth board is in, that's going to be all nicely hidden. That makes me happy. So you can see, this is all going to be sitting under the quarter-berth and nicely up and out of the way. Let's go back to the other side. Oh, right, I'm putting insulation right up against this, so I need to leave space all around. How am I going to do this? I put this one in so close that I can't actually get the zip tie behind it. I don't think I can anyway. I wonder if I can put enough of a curl on this. Yep, that worked. Oh, I can safe this. There, now that wire is dead. Now I can pull this wire out and it's not alive. And I can fish it and do whatever I need to. Got it. Because there was still slack in the zip ties, I was able to just thread it through. Just barely enough slack. Okay, diffuse back in. I shouldn't have lost too much data from my experiment. Stick that up in there. There, that wire's taken care of. Let's do something about this. It's so tight I can't get this drill in here, so I'm going to try something. Hand drill. It's working. If that isn't the height of silly. If it's silly or not, if it works. I don't know if it's coming across on the microphone, but there's quite the hum when the inverter kicks in. Whoa, I'm pulling 56 amps and 64 amps. What am I? My AC loads are 1170 watts. I think the hot water heater kicked in. Yep, that was the hot water heater. Well, I want to see if I have hot water, so I'm going to leave it on. Oh, and it just turned off. That didn't stay on for very long at all. Usually when I'm on camera, I have my hair braided because I'm working. This is why. Again, I have to leave enough slack here to put that insulation on it. I'll show you what I did. So I mounted the clip here. This wire is longer than everything else because, well, you can see the positive has to go up the wall. That one just pretty much makes a straight shot to there. So that just had a way of pulling the slack back and bearing the weight so it's not falling down here. I'm gonna have to run all of these cables. Oh God, what a mess. This is 3-wire. What is this going to? 14 by 3. This is AC wire. I don't know where that goes, but the ground jumps out and ties into here. So it ties, well, I guess that's bonding the AC to the DC. Okay, it's not something I worked on, so it's not something I'm going to fuss about. This. Oh, bollocks, I should have. This should go on the other side of this, and this should have been tied up into here. Damn. Okay, I gotta pop that one off. Yep, this should get tied up like this. Should definitely get tied into this. Just did my first ever patron exclusive update. It is so surreal that that's a thing. All right, let's get back to this. We'll be running this wire and a bunch of other AC wires up as high behind here as I can. I'm not quite sure. Oh. Ah, damn it, I have to take this ground cable off again to get this behind it. Oh well. When I go back here, I don't think I'm going to be able to set the camera up in any way that you can see what I'm doing. So, I mean, you're seeing basically what I'm doing. Slowly working the cables into some form of cleanliness. Now, this is a live system, so I really don't want to leave. There we go, that's clear. I don't want to leave grounds disconnected for very long because I don't know what I've disconnected. Where are these wires that I had in my hand? Can you tell in my voice that I'm getting slightly panicked? Not panicked, I shouldn't say panicked. Concerned about finishing. Well, there is no concern about being finished. I have to finish, whatever that means. There we go. I'm gonna go clean those wires up. Back in a second. So I got a bit more wiring done, but I'm really struggling with the uneven surface. So I'm going to now cut these and make a mount for the quarter berth and try to get the quarter berth back in. The lighting's really crap. These are the screws I originally brought down for the multi-plus. Let me get an F-clamp on this. This is not going to be perfect. And there's not much I can do about that. These screws is long enough that if I countersink it, it'll go through and catch both sides. So I'm thinking I'm going to drop one here, and then I'll pop this off and drop one here, and that should be more than enough. So I didn't bring my countersink, so I have to drill 2 holes. The first hole is going to be the pilot hole for the thread, but before I can screw it in, I've got to drill a taper for the screw, because I don't have a lot of extra length, so I need to make sure the head is well in there to get a good bite from both sides. 1/8 is good for the pilot hole. Now, 3/8. It's probably too big, but it'll do the job. Where's the screwdriver? Why do I lose everything so damn fast? That's the right size. Alright, this is a little proud, but I think it's be okay. If I had time and I had my tools, I would take a block plane to level that out. But I have neither time nor tools. Okay. Let's go get the quarter berth boards and put them back in. Aft section. Oh, this is the forward section. Oops. I'm so smart. SMRT smart. I haven't edited the video where I took this apart yet, but I think I showed you how it was very tight in here. So I get that in there, and then slot that in. And, yep, that feels fine. I got that split pretty well down the middle. I think I would have been okay without this. Still glad I have the sister boards, but yeah, I don't think I needed it. Okay, let's get the real aft in this time. Oh, it's gonna be so nice to have space back in my boat. Well, you know, relatively speaking. Oh, I almost closed in my cutters. I see I forgot a screw back there. Can you see that? There's 3 of them. You can see the other 2 that I've already backed out. I missed that one. I'm gonna back that out. I'm gonna put so many lights through this boat. There will not be one area that is hard to see. Okay, there we go. Something is causing a pinch here. There we go. I got a quarter berth again. Ow. I got a quarter berth again. I've got to put all the screws back in now. It's coming back together. Ripping things apart is kind of fun because it's big visual change very quickly with little effort. But there's a special kind of happiness when you're starting to put it all back together again. So the lazy / running out of time wants to use a drill, but I don't know how good I'm going to get grip, so I'm going to do this by hand. And on the off chance that I lost a couple, I'm going to stagger them out. I'm going to put a screw in, jump, put a screw in, jump, and that way if I end up being short a few screws, I can decide where I feel safest leaving some out. Let's get this corner. Oh, I just realized I was so busy I didn't even think to worry about whether I was going to have clearance. I do. Not a lot. So my gamble of not putting an L in the back paid off. I suppose one option is, because this is floating now, I could put a hole on either side and drill these in with 2 of these to help hold this in place. I think that's what I'll do. So I'm going to save 2 screws, put them aside so I don't sit on them. I'll leave that corner out. I'll put these 2 in. I'm going to show you what I saw in a minute, but I'm going to finish this up first. Stay on task. I hate this case. It's physically painful to pull these out. Whoever designed this case really needs a kick in the pants. Like, look at this. I mean, I know I'm not the strongest person in the world, but I ain't the weakest either. Okay, give some support there. Alright. Now, are these the same size? Either they're the same size, or I got lucky. Yeah. There's pink shit, which coincidentally is the same color as the coolant. Is that spilled stuff that just kind of foamed up while I was gone? I don't know. Is it an active leak? Is it eating up the inside? I don't know. I got a feeling that whatever it is, it's reacting with the aluminum. I just hope it's not a leak. Or if it's a leak, it's a slow enough leak that it doesn't cause me problems on the way home. I will recheck how tight these are. It must have been a coolant spill. That's all I can think. Okay, well, anyways, whatever that pink stuff was, I'm gonna go wash it off my hands, swap batteries, grab a bite to eat. I'll put the cushions back, and then I will bring you back, and we'll keep going. So last night I kind of got into a mood and just decided to keep working. So let me show you how far I got. Last night after I stopped filming, I put the cushions on. I've pulled up the flags and just starting to clean up a little bit. Didn't really do much in here, but you'll notice there's no wires hanging by here anymore. Oops, knock that over. So I got a bunch of the wires here cleaned up. Obviously I've got a lot more to do. I figured out where these go. They go to, I think it's F1 and F2 on the battery disconnect switch. I'm assuming that's field 1, field 2, I don't know. So that's going to go to the battery switch, and then from the battery switch down to the battery, and the negative will go and ground against the block somewhere. I was trying to read on the manual, I don't know if you can see it there, but there's a grounding lug. This is grounded through the short cables, but I think should also be grounded through the battery negative. But I think I'm going to tie this optional ground in anyway, just to be safe. I've downloaded Victron's, what is it, Energy Unlimited, whatever their book is, and I'm going to try to read that tonight when I get some time. I believe this is a grounding wire, so that might be what I tie into here. I have to trace this back. But you see the key thing is, I've got the cables all dressed and mounted. It's not great, but it's certainly good enough for the trip home. That's the wire for the charger. I need to cut that off and tie that in, so I'm going to work on that very shortly. Once that's tied in, I'm going to close this up. Actually, I may not close it up until after I turn on the boat and make sure nothing smokes. I took out a couple of the loose grounds that just kind of went nowhere. I pulled out a bunch of other loose wires that I saw that kind of went nowhere also, and a couple that I don't know if I can cut them. I've got a bit more to do is the key takeaway here. I think I'm going to do this next. And I should give you an update. It's been about 22, 23 hours, and I've got 74% battery. I don't know how accurate that is. I probably have to go all the way down on a discharge before I actually calibrate it properly. But that's with hot water heater on, the AC inverter on. I was running all of the old incandescent lights last night. That kettle's on. I did absolutely nothing to try to conserve power. I was just basically, what's the worst case? So again, the incandescent lights. I've got LED lights on order to replace all of the incandescents. So this is kind of like a worst case scenario. I can't let it go all the way to ground because if I get the engine started, which is today's priority, I'm gonna go on a shakedown cruise on Saturday. So I gotta get to work. I don't know yet, but I went to turn off the GoPro and it just wouldn't stop recording, and I kept hitting the button to stop it, and it finally just turned off, and when I turn it back on, it's like repairing your file. So in case that file is corrupt, because Go's definitely not pro, I just terminated the end of the C13 cable that I bought for the Phoenix charger. and I just kill the power to the AC side. I'm going to kill the power to the DC. I don't think I need to kill the power to the DC side. Hopefully that's not famous last words. And we're going to wire it into the charger. And I'm not using the GoPro because holy f***, I hate that thing and it's just pissing me off. I have to be careful because I'm really pissed off right now, and that is a great recipe for making mistakes. That is all the slack I have, but it has to work for the trip home. Actually, I wasn't very comfortable with the, was it the ground connection? Yeah, the ground connection. And now I'm close enough to it, I think I can get the multimeter to test continuity. This meter has graciously long leads. Okay, it's good. I know you can't really see what's going on here, I'm sorry. Okay. Firing a cock up, that's the AC side actually done. Wow, that felt really nice to say. All right. I'm going to turn on the inverter, and then we'll see if the charger's working. I'm going to go unplug the kettle. The kettle, I've got a kettle that keeps, oh, the camera's really tilted. I've got a kettle that keeps the water always at like the perfect temperature for coffee. If that turns on and starts heating and the hot water tank starts heating, it's more than 2,000 watts, which is what that's the limit of the, well, 1650 is the limit of the multi-plus. That's up and running. Main breaker on. Pilot berth. Actually, nothing's plugged into the pilot berth right now. All right, the hot water tank is on. I'll let that run for a minute. I don't want this on for very long. I just want to see that it actually works. Yes, it works. Sweet. Okay, that's done. I can very happily say that one task is completely done. Unless I'm forgetting something, which I don't think I am, the AC side is completely finished. All right, I need to get the battery working and the alternator working, but I think that's its own video. So, yeah, if you find this interesting, if you think others might find it interesting, could you feed the YouTube algorithm and hit the doobly-doos? It would be very much appreciated. I'm the Digital Mermaid, and I'll see you shortly. For me, I gotta get right back to work. It's battery time. Let's get this girl started. I can't believe I'm slipping the lines in less than 12 hours. I have so much to do.